Hi, I'm Ross Gaddy, and I'm with Indiana University. Thank you for joining us today with College Week Live. I am going to be talking with you about here for just a couple minutes, an overview of Indiana University, admission standards, average freshman profile, and things like that. Going to get you acquainted with the university, and then we will have two students that actually come and answer some of your questions and things like that. So we will go ahead and get started. Like I said, I'm with Indiana University, so thank you for coming. As a campus as a whole, we are a very big university. We've got about 42,000 students here on campus. About 32,000 of them are going to be undergraduate students, so freshmen through senior year. The remaining 10,000 are going to be postgraduate students, night students, part-time students, things like that. So that's just a quick breakdown of that. As far as average freshman profiles this past year, our average freshman had a 3.68 GPA, an average SAT of just over a 1200, and then an average ACT of just over a 27. The most important things to know about those numbers are that, one, with the GPA, we accept weighted or unweighted GPAs, so whichever comes on your high school transcript, that is exactly what we will use. If you're not on a 4-point scale, we will convert your GPA to a 4-point scale and then use that. With the test scores, the biggest thing to know about that is that, one, we do super score the SAT and the ACT, so if you take the test a number of times, you have a much better chance of being admitted to IU and getting scholarships and things like that. But then secondly, we do not use the writing section of the SAT or the ACT, and that is good for admissions, that's good for scholarships, that's good for getting into all of the various programs that we have and things like that. So that's a quick freshman profile. Last year we had just over 7,600 students that came in as an entering freshman class, so it was actually our largest freshman class ever. This year we are actually looking to be right about that pace and even a little bit higher as far as the average profile with GPA and test scores. Moving on from that, as far as classes and things like that are concerned, we've got an average class size of about 34 students, but to me, that number is a little bit misleading, and the reason that I say that is that when I took classes here, I was a student here, I never once had a class that was 34 students. You're going to have classes that are somewhere from 10 students to 25 students, and then 100, 200, or 300 students. So basically the way that those work is that classes are going to meet 1, 2, or 3 days a week. The 1-day-a-week classes meet for about 2.5 hours. The 2-day-a-week classes meet for an hour and 15 minutes apiece. And then the 3-day-a-week classes meet for about 50 minutes apiece. And so that's how that works. The very large majority of your large lecture courses are going to be those 3-day-a-week classes. And so Monday and Wednesday, you're going to go to the large lecture. It's very a traditional style classroom with lecture hall seating and a professor's up front with some type of visual aid or something like that, lecturing you on whatever topic that they're talking about that particular day. On Friday, you're not going to go to that actual large lecture. You're going to go to a breakout section of what we call a discussion group. You're going to meet with 15 to 25 people of your actual class, and you're just going to discuss what was talked about the previous Wednesday and then the Monday before that. So on Fridays there is no new material learned, and it's just a good way to reflect on what happened in the previous 2 classes. So it makes it a little bit easier to get that information and all of that types of stuff. As far as applications and deadlines and things like that are concerned, if you are a current senior, basically what you have right now is if you applied before February 1st, you are going to have a final decision by March 15th, so here in just about 2 weeks. If you are a sophomore or a junior, basically our application process is very easy. For the most part, or most years, our application is going to go live on August 1st, and you'll have between August 1st and November 1st to apply if you want to be eligible for any of the scholarships that we have to offer your freshman year. So out of everything that at least I am telling you today, if you only remember one thing, remember that it's November 1st. If you want to be eligible for any kind of scholarship coming in your freshman year through our Office of Scholarships, and that's whether it's merit-based scholarships or anything else, we have to have that completed application by November 1st. If you have a completed application by November 1st, then you'll have a decision no later than January 15th. If you miss the November 1st deadline, but you apply before February 1st, then you'll have, where we're at right now, a decision by March 15th. And then if you apply after February 1st, then we look at that application only on a space available case-by-case basis. So that is pretty much how the application process works. It's a very simple application, so just get that in as soon as possible for maximum scholarship consideration. And then the last thing that I want to tell you about is the ways to visit campus. For the most part, we do campus visits sometimes three times a day all the way up to 6 days a week. So if you want to register for a campus visit, basically you go to our website, admit.indiana.edu. That's our admissions website. But then if you put a / visit, then that'll take you directly to our visit website. And so you can schedule your visit on there. We have a number of different visiting options. If you're a prospective student, we have Discover IU Days, which is basically our normal campus visit, where you come, you do an hour information session with a director like myself, then you go on about an hour and 15-minute walking tour of campus, then you do a residence hall tour, and you can even schedule academic information sessions with all of our various academic programs on campus. If you're an admitted senior right now, or if you're an admitted senior in further years, what we have is red carpet days, and those are visits very specific to admitted high school seniors. It's just a much more in-depth look at IU. I very highly recommend that. And then we have other options such as the host program and group visits and things like that. And you can find all that information on the website that I referenced just a little bit ago. But again, that's admit.indiana.edu / visit. And then moving on from here, we're going to let our two students talk, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves right now. So thank you.
Hi everybody.
Hi.
Welcome to College Week Live, Indiana University of Bloomington edition. My name is Allison Hill. I am currently going to be a graduating senior from Barrington, Illinois, and I'm studying criminal justice and sociology.
Hi everybody, my name is Laura. I am also a graduating senior. I'm originally from Ann Arbor, Michigan, and I'm studying psychology with a concentration in biology. So we're just gonna hang around for a little bit here and answer any questions you guys have. So if you're watching and you have a question that you'd like us to answer about student life, classes, please send them in, and we will definitely check those out.
I think it would be great to get started on giving a little bit about our IU story. Both of us being out-of-state students, we have different perspectives about coming to Indiana University and seeing what it's like in Bloomington. Myself, it's tradition for my family to go here. My dad is actually from Indianapolis, which is the state capital of Indiana. And so I grew up knowing what Hoosier Nation was all about, wearing the crimson and cream. And I just knew that I always wanted to go to a Big Ten school. And then in high school, I started looking at different schools, and I knew that Indiana University was for me. When I first came on campus, I actually went on a visit called Campus Collage, which is one of our diversity programs. And it's an overnight program for admitted seniors in the spring. And that's an opportunity to stay overnight with college students, really get a feel of what it's like to be on campus. And I knew I belonged here. Some of the great experiences that I've had so far is having internships. I had an internship with the circuit court of the county judge, and I worked in court administration, so I got to see a lot of the justice procedures. Also, I got to have an internship abroad. I did a study abroad program, which we're going to talk about our overseas program in a little bit, because both of us have gone on an overseas study abroad program, but I actually got to have an internship, and that was one of the most fantastic experiences that I've had so far.
Absolutely. And similarly to Allison, I grew up in an Indiana University household. A little bit different though, because I'm from Ann Arbor, Michigan, another Big Ten college town. But I grew up wanting to go to a big school, and as I became a senior in high school, I looked around at a couple different places, and I kept coming back to IU, and it was really just this wonderful sense of family and community, as well as the academic opportunities in and out of the classroom that really drew me to IU. I've had a chance to study a wide range of things here, both in and out of my major. In the biology program, one of my favorite classes has been something like animal behavior, where we got to go to the zoo and actually study animals at the time. Also in my psych major, I'm looking to go into higher education, so I've had the opportunity to talk about counseling and other different things like that with one of the best psychology departments in the country. It has been a wonderful experience here. Again, like Allison said, the chance to study abroad. It's tough to leave Bloomington for a semester or for a summer, but it was a really wonderful opportunity to grow professionally and personally. So all of those things are things that IU offers, and not to mention just being a part of Hoosier Nation, being a part of this community that is global, and it's a really, really awesome opportunity for us here at IU. So we're just checking out to see if we've got any questions.
Okay, so our first question is actually from Maureen, and she wants to know where exactly Bloomington is.
Bloomington is in south central Indiana. So if you know where Indianapolis is, right smack dab in the middle of the state, in the middle of the country, almost in the middle of the country, we're about 50 miles south of Indianapolis. So it's kind of this wonderful little oasis down here in south central Indiana.
And so what are some ways to actually get to Bloomington if you're from out of state?
Something great for all of you Chicago area students that you guys can take a part in are our Chicago area shuttles that go straight from campus to the Chicago area. There's one that goes straight to Woodfield, so if you guys are from the northwest suburbs, you know exactly where that is. There's also one that goes to Oakbrook Mall, and also you can take a shuttle to Indianapolis, where they have an airport there, and then you can go ahead and fly anywhere in the country or in the world that you need to go to.
Absolutely. The shuttles that run to the airport run on an hour basis, early enough to get to your 6 a.m. flights all the time, every day. So those are a wonderful resource to get to and from the Indianapolis airport. Also, if you don't want to fly, but you don't have a car on campus, there's always ride shares. There are people who are going home from all over the Midwest, all over the country, and you can help chip in with gas, and those kind of things can be posted on the residence hall, kind of community centers and things like that. So there's tons of ways to get to and from campus, even though we don't really like leaving campus that much. We have enough stuff to do here anyway.
And some people do have cars. Some freshmen do have cars on campus. You are allowed to have a car. Some schools don't allow you freshmen to have cars, but you are allowed to have cars on campus. It is on it's on a seniority basis and then a first come first serve basis. So as a freshman, you might not get your preferred parking sticker, but you will get something at least. So it's something to consider if you would rather have a car on campus.
And though you can have a car, you don't necessarily need it. We are a very, very bike-friendly and walking-friendly campus. There are bike racks at every turn, and you really have a 15-minute passing time in between classes, which is more than enough time to get around the academic core of campus to and from your classes. And once you learn campus a little bit after your freshman semester, your first semester, you're a pro, and you can schedule your classes in a way that makes it really easy for you to get to and from them in that 15-minute time period.
And buses are free for all students, the city buses and the Bloomington buses.
And so our next question comes from Kathy, and she is asking about residence halls, and she wants to specifically know if there are any female-only residence halls, but would you talk about the overall experience with those also?
Yeah, hi Kathy. Residence halls, great question. A lot going on in residence halls, obviously. We have 3 neighborhoods on campus, the Northwest, Central, and Southeast, and each of them have different amenities and different kind of style of dorms. We encourage you to come to campus so you can take a look at all of that they have to offer. But when you apply to IU and if you get admitted and you fill out the housing application, you can ask for a specific residence, or not a specific residence hall, but a specific neighborhood, and then they'll place you in a residence. In terms of girl-only dorms, there are girl-only floors, but it really depends on the luck of the draw if you get a girls-only floor. There's only one building on campus that has only girls in that building, but a lot of the buildings are co-ed, but just because they're co-ed doesn't mean that you'll be a female and a male right next door to each other, but it'll probably be about females on one side of the hall and males on the other side of the hall.
Right, you're never gonna have to be sharing a bathroom with the guys or anything like that. You have your own community style bathroom that you're gonna be sharing with all the other girls on your floor. The only time that you'll really be in a room that's right next to a male's room or someone of the opposite sex is if you're in a suite style living community where you share only one bathroom with your roommate, and that's it. So it's the residence halls, like Allison said, there's 3 neighborhoods and they have tons of different opportunities, whether it be the living learning communities, which have themes, something like women in science or outdoor adventures, or the Kelly School Business LLC. There's tons of stuff to get involved with where you live. So that's one really awesome thing, as well as the regular programs that the resident assistants put on for each floor, whether it be going to a basketball game together or going to see a play at the IU auditorium. There's tons of stuff going on that the residential programs and services, along with the resident assistants, put on a regular basis for all of the students.
Which is great because it's a really great way for you guys to get to know each other right when you get on campus. We encourage you all to get in touch with your floor mates once you get here so that you can make those lifelong friendships as soon as possible.
Okay, and so the next question is, do I need to bring a computer, printer, general tech, things like that?
I think really in general, that's up to you. I think most people would bring a laptop. I brought a laptop. I didn't bring a printer or anything like that. There are computer labs in all of the residence halls and all of the academic buildings, and you have access to any of those. You have printers, you have scanners, you have all different types of tech ware around campus that you have access to, and you're given 500 pages per semester of printing. So you always have the option to add on more. And those are located in your residence hall all the time, so really you don't need to have one in your room. If you have one, you're welcome to bring it. It's totally up to you. But all the access to all of those things are there. We also have tech services, UIT's University Information Technology Services, and they are free services, students helping students, and they are the best. It's really kind of a geek squad at IU, and they will help you with any tech problems that you have. So don't worry about bringing a printer. Don't worry if it's a Mac or a PC. Both are great, both work here, and you have access to both of them in the computer labs.
And also, don't worry if you don't have one yet. There is a computer store here on campus in the Indiana Memorial Union, one of the most used unions, student unions across the country. So if you don't have one, come on down for orientation, come on down for Welcome Week, and you can get one right on campus.
Excellent. So our next question is from Abdullah. He is asking if there is any cricket club on campus.
The answer is yes, absolutely. There's stuff all over campus. We have over 800 clubs and organizations, as well as intramural sports and club sports. So intramural sports are students playing students, and club sports are students at IU playing students from other universities. So you have the opportunity to get involved in different levels of athletics, as well as those clubs and organizations that compete just friendly with other clubs and organizations. And those clubs can be anything from athletic to philanthropic, religious, cultural organizations. We have some of our biggest, one of the biggest is the Indiana University Dance Marathon. It's a philanthropic organization that raises money for Riley Children's Hospital in Indianapolis. So there's really something for anybody to get involved in, and cricket is absolutely one of those things.
Yeah, there's over 800 student activities and organizations, and if there is not, for some luck of the draw, the thing that you're interested in, there's no organization on campus, you can go ahead and make one. Grab 5 friends, get an advisor, you can go ahead and make your own organization, and then you can pave the way for other students that are interested in the same thing.
Excellent. And so Kathy's back with a follow-up question. She would like to know, with the dorms that have guys on one side and girls on the other side, how do the restrooms and things like that work?
With those, it's actually going to be kind of like wings. It's not all on one floor that the girls are on the left side of the hall and the guys are on the right side of the hall. You'll have all women on one floor and then all men on another floor. Or if it's a building where there's wings, you'll have a girls' wing on one side and a boys' wing on the other side. So there will be 1 or 2 bathrooms designated per hallway, and that will be for only the girls on that floor, only the guys on their own guys' floor. So you're not going to have boys right across the hall from you.
Okay, and then Kathy again is asking about the social scene and if it is as intense as what she is hearing it is.
Okay, here's something to remember about the social scene, or as some people call it, party schools. Every school can be considered a party school if they make it. But here's the thing, IU has so many other things to offer that you don't have to get involved in that. We have, bowling at the Union, movies at the Union. We have our own movie theater. We have all the student organizations and clubs that we talked about. They have events going through the night, as well as the residence halls put on programs throughout the night. You can go to a symphony, go to an orchestra. The IU Auditorium has loads of performances throughout the year. Beauty and the Beast is coming up in here. We had Yo-Yo Ma, Blue Man Group. We've had so many different organizations, so many different events here on campus that you don't have to get involved in the party scene. There's so many more things to do. And we do encourage that any student that is interested in getting in that social scene to be very selective and to, you can have fun with friends and not go crazy.
Absolutely. That being said, we do have 4 active police departments on campus, and the drinking age in the United States of America is 21 years old. So if you are caught underage, it's not good news. So don't do it.
And there's other things to do. We always like to say that there are completely and totally other things to do.
Okay, and so the next question is from John. John says he likes food and wants to know what kind of options he has.
There's a huge range of options. Like we mentioned, there are 3 different residence hall neighborhoods. Each one of those is equipped with a dining hall. It's going to be a little bit different in each neighborhood, but you do have access to all of them. You're not just restricted to the one in your neighborhood. You can go anywhere. For instance, the Collins dining hall is like Thanksgiving dinner every single night. They have the most vegan and vegetarian options on campus, and it's really just a home-cooked meal. Some of the other ones are what we call a la carte, and you go in and you decide everything you want for dinner that night, and you pay for the items individually with your meal points. So there's tons of options, whether it be gluten-free, the vegan and vegetarian options, anything you want. You have access to all of those things on campus, as well as things called the C-stores, the convenience stores, and you can go and buy paper products or frozen meals or fruit or sandwiches to keep in your dorm, in your fridge, to use at a different time. If you want to have a bowl of cereal and milk for breakfast without having to go down to the dining hall, you have access to that. And all of those things are in your meal plan. So you have right in the palm of your hand, in your ID, you have access to all of those different options.
And even in some academic buildings, we have campus cafes where you can go, say you're in Valentine Hall, which is one of the academic buildings here on campus, and you have 4 classes back to back. You can actually go down to the basement of that academic building and go into the campus cafe, grab a sandwich, grab some chips to go, to keep you energized and refueled. So if you're hungry between the hours of 8 a.m. and 4 a.m., there's somewhere on campus for you to eat. We never want you guys to go hungry, and there's a lot of different options for you all.
And so the next question is about classes. What type of classes do freshmen usually take, and what are the availability of those classes?
Freshman classes depend on your major. Some people get directly admitted into their school of study, so their classes may be different than other freshmen. But we don't really have a specific coursework that all freshmen have to take. It really depends on your major and your area of study.
Right. And there are certain things like language that most people on campus are going to have to take a language, and we have a huge range of languages that you can get involved in, whether it be Spanish or Latin, just about anything. Basically, your breakdown is going to be a range of natural and mathematical classes, social and historical classes, and arts and humanities classes, as well as specific ones to your major. So a marketing class, Marketing 101 if you're in business, or something like that. So those credits are things that you have to fill, but you have a huge range of options to fill that one natural and mathematical class. So that's what's really nice, and it keeps the availability open. We do have our class registration by seniority, so the seniors get first choice, and the freshmen, you sign up when you come for orientation before your freshman year. Since we have such a wide range of options, and we have over 4,000 courses taught on this campus every single semester, you have the opportunity to get in. Usually the classes, your entry-level classes are going to be a little bit larger just to accommodate the number of people that have to take classes like that.
But we have to remember that something that we always like to say is we have the largest, or we have the smallest, largest lecture hall of the Big Ten. What does that mean? That's really confusing. So of all of the Big Ten schools, there might be a campus that has, their largest lecture hall has 700, 800, 600 people as their largest lecture hall. Our largest lecture hall is actually at 400. So we try and keep you guys in the smallest amount of people in your class as possible. We really like that faculty to student connection. Going to office hours is great if you're in those larger lecture halls. Office hours are a time outside of school that you can, outside of your classes, that you can meet with your professors about what you're doing in class, if you have any questions that you didn't want to ask during lecture hall, and really connect with your professors. Like Laura was saying, if you have a class of 100 or 200 students, it's really important that you're not just another face in the crowd. You really want to get to know your faculty and have your faculty know you, because letters of recommendation in the upcoming years is a really important thing to have those connections.
Excellent. So our next question is back to Abdullah, and we were asked, is there a prayer room for Muslim students in any of our residence halls?
Absolutely. We have an LLC, like those living learning communities that I mentioned earlier, and this one is called the Global Village. And it has opportunities for people from all around the world of different cultures and different religious beliefs to practice those beliefs freely and openly in that LLC. And it's equipped for just what everybody needs. Along with that, we also have a lot of cultural centers and ethnic centers around campus that maybe aren't necessarily in the residence halls, but things like the LGBT House and La Casa Latino Cultural Center, the Neil Marshall Black Cultural Center. And those are a safe space and a place for anybody to go and get involved. You don't have to be Latino to go there on Cinco de Mayo and have a traditional meal. You can go and experience all these different types of cultures and religions and different things like that right on campus. We have Hillel for Jewish American students and different things like that. So everything is on campus. We're a very, very diverse campus, and that's something that we take pride in. And we want everybody to feel comfortable and have the chance to learn about different cultures and religions and ethnicities that maybe you didn't know about before. So yes, the answer to that is absolutely yes.
Excellent. So our next question actually comes from Carly. She says that she is from Southern California and is afraid of the weather here and is interested in knowing what your thoughts are on that.
Well, we don't have polar vortexes every year, so it's usually not as cold as it's been this year. But I think both of us may be a little bit biased coming from farther north than here. But to be completely honest, in Bloomington, we do get snow and we do get ice and it is cold. But the summers drag out a little bit longer and the spring starts a little bit earlier. So it's not quite as long of a summer as maybe you might think it is. We do experience all 4 seasons, sometimes in one day, but bringing a nice coat and a pair of rain boots and an umbrella, you'll be sorted out for the year.
Please bring rain boots.
Please bring rain boots, absolutely.
Okay, and then back to Kathy. She is asking if there are review sessions available for the classes before tests and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of times professors will actually do review sessions in their classes, but if they don't, it's always great for some students to get together with study groups. Sometimes students will post on OnCourse, which is like our student online web access where they can connect with their faculty and their other peers in their classes, and they'll make study groups through that, and that's a great way to get prepared for any tests or exams coming up.
Yeah. It's not guaranteed that for any given class that there will be an official review session before a test or exam, but like Allison said, you have the opportunity to get together with other people from your class and form one, and that, as a lot of professors will suggest, that's a really good way to practice and to learn and to make sure that you're prepared for that exam.
And also we have tutors. We have writing tutorial services. In every single neighborhood, there is an academic support center. So that if you're having any issues, getting started on a paper, or you want someone to peer edit your paper to make sure there's not any grammatical errors or anything like that, you can go into the writing tutorial services in the academic support center, and they will look over your paper, help you get started. There's also math tutoring, language tutoring, pretty much any kind of tutoring that you think you would need, and any help there, we're going to provide for you guys.
Excellent. And so the next question is from Savannah. Savannah, thank you for joining us. She says that she lives in Indianapolis and would love to study language and to travel. Is there a study abroad program at IU Bloomington? What could she study abroad, when, things like that?
Well, good thing you're talking to us because we're actually 2 veteran study abroaders. And also take those languages. My first 2 years, I came from a background of French. From high school, and when I got to IU, I decided that I wanted to go away from that path and do something a little bit different. So I decided I was going to start taking Swahili, which is an African language. I haven't done anything with it since my sophomore year, but it was a really great opportunity for me to learn something that was outside of my comfort zone. So take those languages. For study abroad, you don't always need to know the language to go to that country. Laura and I both went to England, but we went to different places in England. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I took Latin as a foreign language here, so not exactly spoken anymore, kind of a language. But I did have the opportunity to study in England or Australia, or even if I wanted to go somewhere else, there are different American universities based in different countries, like, for example, in Florence, Italy. So the classes are taught in English, but you are based in a non-English speaking country, so you have access to that culture and that experience outside of the classroom, but you don't have to worry about knowing Italian to get through all of your classes. You do, I believe we have like 17 different languages for all of the, you can go study abroad at places with 17 different languages, and we actually have the 5th highest ranking study abroad program in the country. And it is an excellent experience. You can study abroad for a full year, for a semester, for a summer, for a spring break, for a couple of weeks. You have a huge range of opportunities, and you can go just academically to take credits that will transfer back to IU, or you can have an internship like Allison did.
I did have an internship abroad, actually. I went on a summer program and I did an internship in London. So I actually worked in Parliament, which is the House of Commons, which is their form of government. And that was as a sophomore. So you don't actually have to be a junior or a senior to do any internships. I actually did it as a sophomore. You can do internships or do research with professors as early as your freshman year. So I encourage you guys all to study abroad, even if you just want to take classes, even if you want to do missionary work or volunteer work, or if you want to learn a language. Go and do it because, this is the time for you to.
Right. We really are kind of in a global community, and the world is very, very much a global community. So having that experience abroad, getting to know people, having some of your best friends now be from Switzerland or Holland or all over the world, it's a very unique experience, and it's something that you will be thankful for the rest of your life that you have the opportunity to do.
Yeah.
Okay, and then Kathy again, she's asking about internships. She says, do you have to be a junior or a senior to actually apply for internships?
No. You don't have to be. You can get involved in internships and different things all throughout your time at IU, but it's going to be a little bit different of an idea for internships. So maybe after your junior year or during your junior year, you're going to have a more official internship through a school or a company that may eventually lead to a job in that field. So it's never too early to start looking for experiences and internships. You have the chance to learn what you do like and what maybe you're not quite as interested in, and different opportunities to network and get to know people and learn more about that field are absolutely something that you can get started on as early as freshman year. The vast majority of students here at IU have at least one internship during their time, and even a lot of them have 2 internships during their undergraduate time at IU.
And you can also do internships for class credit like I did. I actually took a 400 level criminal justice course. It was actually an internship. So I did my internship for 4 months, and then I wrote a paper at the end, and I got class credit for it. Oh yeah, and we also have a department here on campus called Career Services, where they will actually connect you with internships. They'll do job fairs throughout the year so that you can start networking and getting to know different companies, not just in the Indiana area, but also out of state as well. So they will be able to help you kind of get your foot in the door career-wise.
And with all of those things, they can also help you build your resume, know how to format it. They can help you practice interview questions, mock interviews. They can help you take different kinds of quizzes and things to learn what your strengths are and what opportunities you have to improve. So it's a really nice way to kind of learn about yourself professionally and see what you can work on to make yourself a more valuable candidate for an internship or for a job once you graduate.
Okay, Mark, thanks for your question. Mark wants to know about the Greek system and whether we have frats or sororities, things like that.
Yes, we do. Greek life is about 20% of campus here at IU. We have both fraternities and sororities, both a wide range of them. Some of them have houses on campus, some of them don't have houses on campus, but they all have the general idea of forming a community that goes towards a singular goal. Like I said, it's about 20% of campus, so there is another 80% of campus that is not Greek, so neither of us are in houses, but we still have friends who are involved in the Greek community. Girls rush in the spring and guys have the opportunity in the fall or the spring, and their main focuses are philanthropic events and other things like that. So it's a wonderful thing to get involved in. If you're not quite sure if you want to go Greek, we always encourage you to go through the process. Maybe you find out you love it, maybe you find out it's not quite for you. But it's definitely a part of our campus, and it's a wonderful thing to check out when you get here.
There's also, you can do volunteer fraternities, you can do co-ed fraternities, honors ones, and there's also NPHC, which is National Pan-Hellenic, which is historically African American fraternities and sororities, and MCGC, which is the Multicultural Greek Council. So there's a lot of opportunities to be Greek here on campus. So we encourage that if you guys are interested to check out the IU website and just search Greek life, and they'll give you any information that you guys have.
And then our final question is actually going to be from Alex, and Alex is wanting to know about the various cultural centers on campus.
Yeah, we have the Neil Marshall Black Culture Center, the Asian Culture Center, La Casa, which is the Latino Cultural Center, First Nations, and the Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgender, and Questioning Cultural Center. And just because we listed all of those, you don't have to be African American to go to the Neil Marshall. You don't have to be Asian to go to the Asian Cultural Center. There are so many opportunities and programs that each cultural center puts on that you can go in and attend as an IU student. It's also a great time for people of those backgrounds to connect with other students that have similar life experiences and to get in touch with your culture.
Yeah, and it's a really great kind of home base for students, for international students who are coming around and want a little bit of a taste of home, or want a common culture for them to go to kind of relax and have that connection back to where they're from, as well as teaching students, domestic students and other international students about their culture. So they're definitely a great thing to get involved in. And I think we're gonna wrap it up. We just wanted to thank you so much for all of your questions and for listening and watching. Please keep participating in the College Week Live. We really enjoy being here.
And visit. Check out those red carpet days if you're an admitted senior. Just come on a visit with your parents if you guys are interested and you haven't even applied yet and you're a freshman, sophomore, or a junior. Check out at the admissions website at admit.indiana.edu.
Yeah, and you'll probably see us around. So come join us for the rest of the semester. It was very nice talking to you, and thanks again.
Bye, guys.